Well, it's August 12th, it's a Monday, and it's my first time in the Uintas this year. Just gonna go out for a quick little overnighter here. I've got tomorrow off, today as well. I was hoping to actually go somewhere I haven't been before for tonight. I was gonna try and get up to Petite Lake, up Stillwater over on the north side of the slopes here, and that didn't happen. I left home too late. It's actually 7 o'clock p.m. right now, so I'm gonna do something short and easy for tonight. Yeah, it would have been a 2.5 hour drive to get to Amethyst, to the trailhead for Amethyst Lake, and then another 6 miles of hiking. So I opted to go a little shorter. I've pulled out at Crystal Lake Trailhead. It's an hour less of driving, so only an hour and a half. And I'm gonna go hike up to Clyde Lake, which is only about 2.5 miles from here. And hope to arrive about 8 o'clock to get camp set up and have a little bit light left to make dinner and get a little fishing in. Got Crystal Lake here. It's the first named lake on this route of many lakes. Passing by Cliff Lake now. And there's the cliff that gives the lake its name. Here's Petite Lake, Mount Watson, just above it there. Passing by Lovenia Lake. Isn't much of a lake, but it's kind of back in there. More of a marshy pond. And here is Watson Lake. Same Mount Watson above it. And now we've arrived at Clyde Lake. Time to go find a spot for camp. Alright, made it to camp. Right on target too, about 8 o'clock, just as planned. So, I'm gonna get the pack off, get the tent up. Got camp all set up, doing the tarp tent notch tonight. Thought about bringing up the hammock, but again, always easier to find a good tent spot up here. So, anyhow, I got the moon behind me right over my head there. It's mostly a full moon. And yeah, gonna get dark pretty quick here. Got the lake up behind me back there. So I'm gonna go throw the fishing line in a few times just for fun while the fish are still going at it down there, as you can see. And then do dinner and get tucked away for bed tonight. Well, got one, caught another that got away earlier. Well, tucked away in my tent here. Just had dinner in the dark. Yeah, some curry couscous with cranberries and almonds. It's pretty good stuff. Stuff I've picked up at Walmart. And saw a few shooting stars going off while I was out, and just realized this week is the Perseid meteor showers. And this is this is one of the best places to see that kind of action. But unfortunately, with this week, the moon is going pretty strong. And so, probably see a few more shooting stars if it weren't for the moon. But what the moon is doing is it's lighting up the area around here, lighting up the mountains around here, and also allowing the trees and mountains to reflect off the lake. And that's really cool when you can see reflections on the lakes in the middle of the night like this. So anyhow, I'm gonna go to bed now and maybe wake up in the middle of the night, see what's happening in the sky, but otherwise looking forward to a really exciting big day tomorrow. Well, I'm up. Got pretty cold through the night. Waking up, my thermometer said it's about 25 degrees. Probably not that accurate, but it was pretty frosty. Gear's got frost all over it down here. And so, yeah, sun's up, and I think I'm gonna fill the fishing line out a little bit more before I get breakfast going here. Fished for well over an hour, and I got nothing. So gave him everything. Gotta give him a silver bullet, Rapala. Caught a couple on a Rapala last night, but yeah, nothing to it today. Got one hit on a mosquito fly, or a fish jumped for it but missed it. No other hits, no other action though. Mosquito fly, a couple other flies on a bubble. And yeah, rooster tails, some other spinners, some woolly buggers. Nothing happening with any of that. So anyhow, I'm gonna get packed up here and start heading out to the notch here, which is right over here. So some new gear I've been using on this trip. 3 things. First thing is this VersaFlow filter. Had it out on a day hike once, tested out, but it's first time out with it for a backpacking trip. And I'm just getting a feel for it, see what I like about it, how it compares to the Sawyer Squeeze I normally carry. And I've already noticed a lot of similarities obviously, but there's a few subtle differences between this guy and the Sawyer Squeeze setup, and I'll do a video explaining those similarities and the subtle differences that give each their own unique set of pros and cons. So stay tuned for that. Another new piece of gear in my tent here is this Climate. It is 15, just a bit over 15 ounces, and it is the Climate Insulated Static V Ultralight SL. So the third new piece of gear that I have out on this trip is this little folding titanium spork. It's by brand Timber Brother, and yeah, titanium, super light, and really cool how it folds up. The reason I picked this up over to compare against the long-handled Sea to Summit spork I usually use is I wanted something that could actually fit in my pot and still be just as sturdy. So when I cook in the pot and actually rehydrate in the pot using my cozy here, this fork is perfect for, or the spork is proving to be perfect for storing in the pot and for eating out of the shallow pot here. If I'm doing pouch meals, then the long-handled spork is much nicer and much cleaner. But yeah, so nice to have another option here. All right, packs on the back, heading out now. So here's a better look at the notch from the south end of the Clyde Lake here. That's where I'm going to be heading over here. Lots of corn lilies blooming out here. Alright, I've arrived at Upper Twin Lake. Have not been around its north side here, which I think is the primary trail. I've always split the lakes around the south side of the upper lake here, so I'm gonna go around this way for a change. Here is Lower Twin Lake. Alright, I've arrived at the junction. It takes me up to the notch. Right up there. Okay, pack is stashed away. Up we go. Well, just about on top of the notch here. Nice view of the lakes below. You got Wall Lake right here. You got Twin Lakes right down in here. And then Clyde Lake right there. The base of Mount Watson there. Down we go, other side of the notch, northbound. Here's a look over Lovenia Lake. Pretty green. There's some snow still holding on the under the north ledge of the notch here. So I've been passing by quite a few hikers, a handful of day hikers, a few couples, and older couples too. So always like seeing older couples out. Hope to do that with my wife Jess. Be fit enough to take in these kind of hikes when we get close to retirement and beyond. But also a lot of backpackers, and it's Tuesday now. And so that means a lot. Camped out here last night being a Monday night, and I know Ibantik Lake is very popular for backpacking too, but wow, like looks like if all the groups that I passed by on their way out back over the notch where the camp down here, there's a lot of people down here for a Monday night, so don't even want to think about how many typically show up on a Friday or Saturday night back in here. So quite a place though. We'll see what it looks like in a few minutes. There it is, Ibantik Lake. This is pretty awesome. Guess it's time for a little bit of a beach walk here. So I left my pack right around here in some trees near Twin Lakes here, right alongside this trail. Came up and over the notch, and it took me a little over an hour just to get here to Ibantik Lake. And Ibantik Lake. And I was seriously wanting to keep going all the way around here to check out Bench Lake, Notch Lake, Dean Lake, and then perhaps between Dean Lake try and come off the trail there, off the lake, and then bushwhack and scramble my way back over to my pack over here. But seeing that it took me an hour on trail just to get here, and it looks like I'm only about between a fourth and a fifth of the way around that loop, probably take me another 4 to 5 hours just to get back to my pack that way. And it's almost 1 o'clock now, so that put me at like 5 o'clock at least, if not longer, because I have no idea how thick and tricky this stretch would be through here, and all the obstacles that might have to get around that way. So, and then still got to come all the way out back to my car down here. So that put me at like 6 o'clock or later getting out of here, plus the drive home. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna conserve my time and reverse back out over the notch here and then come back out around Wall Lake. So I know this is a really popular area to come camp, backpack to, but I don't understand 2 fire rings this close to each other. In fact, there's a lot of areas up here, some of these popular spots, that have multiple fire rings within 20 feet of each other. These guys are within like 5 feet of each other. Crazy. So here's a spot for a tent right here. Maybe the fire ring on the right side here is for that tent site. And the fire ring right here is for anyone who wants to be neighbors and throw their tent up right there. Because you gotta have your own fire ring and your own fire if you're gonna camp that close to someone. It's Utah Jazz flowers. Gold and purple. Veering off trail a bit, since I'm heading my way back up over the notch to get to my pack. I want to go see Lovenia Lake a little closer, so that's where I'm trying to get to. It made it to the edge of Lovenia Lake here. My, it's beautiful. Actually, if I had a choice between camping near this lake and Ibantik down the trail, I'd go with this one. This one's gorgeous, just a little bit more intimate, and certainly don't have all the crowds of people going to it. I don't know if there's any fish in here. Looks like it could get deep enough for some fish, but yeah, being midday and all choppy, don't see anything jumping or anything like that right now. So could be though, could be some fish in here. So yeah, on my way over here, I saw a deer. It had to have been at least a 4-point buck. And of course, by the time I got my camera out to zoom in on it to get some video, it was already taken off. It stopped for a second, long enough for me to get a picture of it, kind of from behind, and then it continued on its way into the trees. And then a minute after that, must have had a friend with it, because then there was probably a 2-point buck, it looked like. Alright, I can't resist. This might be my only chance at doing any glissading, sliding down some snow this year. Gotta do it. Woo! Wasn't bad. Oh, I just about swallowed a fly. Buzzed in my mouth against my lips. Ooh. Didn't go farther than the lips though. Whew. Got my pack back. Now finishing out this little loop I started. The Clyde Lake loop, Wall Lake loop, whatever you want to call it. About 2 miles to go. About a mile down to Wall Lake and a mile from there back to the car. Passing by Hope Lake now. There's a nameless little lake. Last one before I get to Wall Lake, which is just out beyond there. And now we're arriving at Wall Lake here. Biggest one of them all up here. Well, coming up on the final lakes here, Lily Lakes, are the last lakes to see, which are just prior to the trailhead here in a minute. So it's been a good trip. Weather's been great the whole way through. No afternoon storms, which happens more often than not this time of year up in these parts. Yeah, maybe if I would have got to the trailhead sooner yesterday, I definitely would have tried to get over the notch and camped back on that side in the vicinity of Ibantik Lake. And then if I had camped there, I definitely would have swung around to check out, Meadow Lake, Bench Lake, Notch Lake, Dean Lake, all those lakes around the mountain from the Ibantik Lake there. So yeah, I'll save that for another day, another time, but glad I got out. Here's one of the lily lakes on the left side of the trail. Got the lily pads all out there, which gives it its name. You got Bald Mountain up behind there to the right, Reed's Peak to the left. Then back across the trail to the right is the other Lily Lake. Making my way back home now. I just left the trailhead a minute ago. It was pretty busy and a lot of noise and crowd of people right next to the car, so I backed out of there pretty quick. Yeah, excited to get home. And I guess that's it. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed or not subscribed, please consider doing so, and you'll see me on the next one.